Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
حي على الصلاة.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
I rise to the highest of heights, giving all praise to Allah, the great God Allah, the Father of the universe, and to give the highest of honors to his prophet, Noble Drew Ali. I give honors to the forerunner, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, who did warn and stir up the nations. I give honors to the Moorish Science Temple of America, subordinate temple number 19. I give honors to the office of the Grand Governor, the office of the Lieutenant Grand Governor, and the office of the Chairman. I give honors to the mighty vanguards who keep the peace. I give honors to all the ills and bays, and I'd like to give honors to all of our visitors as well. Islam. I'd like to draw from chapter 1, the creation and fall of man, and in your Moorish American, in the Moorish Holy Quran. And we won't read through the whole thing, but I just want to pull out some key points that the chairman had actually touched upon a few of them. So we're going to be talking about thoughts. Chapter 1, the creation and fall of man. If you have it, say Islam. Islam. Time never was when man was not. If life of man at any time began, a time would come when it would end. The thoughts of Allah cannot be circumscribed. No finite mind can comprehend things infinite. All finite things are subject unto change. All finite things will cease to be because there was a time when they were not. The bodies and the souls of men are finite things, and they will change, yea, from the finite point of view, the time will come when they will be no more. But man himself is not the body nor the soul. He is a spirit and a part of Allah. Creative fate gave to spirit man, a soul that he might function on the plane of soul, gave him a body of the flesh that he might function on the plane of things made manifest. Why did creative fate give to spirit man a soul that he might function on the plane of soul? Why did creative fate give to soul a body of the flesh that he might function on the plane of things that are made manifest? Hear now, ye worlds, dominions, powers, and thrones. Hear now, ye cherubim, ye seraphim, ye angels, and ye men. Hear now, O protoplast and earth, and plant and beast. Hear now, ye creeping things of the earth, ye fish that swim, ye birds that fly. Hear now, ye winds that blow, ye thunders and ye lightnings of the sky. Hear now, ye spirits of the fire, of water, earth, and air. Hear now, O everything that is, or was, or evermore will be, for wisdom speaks from out of the highest plane of spirit life. Man is a thought of Allah. All thoughts of Allah are infinite. They are not measured up by time, for things that are concerned with time begin and end. The thoughts of Allah are the everlasting of the past unto the never-ending days to come, and so is man, the spirit man. But man, like every other thought of Allah, was but a seed that held within itself the potencies of Allah, just as the seed of any plant of earth holds deep within itself the attributes of every part of that special plant. Islam. So here the prophet teaches that the thoughts of Allah cannot be circumscribed. No finite mind can comprehend things infinite. And that reminds me of Isaiah chapter 55 out of the Holy Bible Piscean text. Starting at verse 7, it says, "Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our God, for he will abundantly pardon. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. So here the Old Testament writer is of the same mind as our prophet Noble Drew Ali when he's writing, when he says that his thoughts are not our thoughts. Allah's thoughts are not our thoughts. We cannot comprehend infinite thoughts. Although man is infinite, our thoughts are not always. We have finite thoughts because our thoughts are concerned with time and things that have beginning and an end.
Islam.
See, the prophet talks much about thoughts and throughout his literature. The prophet teaches us that thoughts must be developed by the exercise of strength. You know, many times we find ourselves in situations in which we, are I'd say, forced, to exercise and are forced to build that strength through our thoughts. Many times we're in situations where we may not have enough money. Many times we're in situations where we're just kind of, like the chairman said, we're lost. I mean, literally. Sometimes we could be lost without a ride home. And just from the thought of something we could manifest, someone just riding up in a car and offering us a ride for us to get to where we're going. However, we debased ourselves by our own carnal thoughts, words, and deeds. But this is something that we see on a daily basis. Our lives are the products of our own thoughts or the way we think. If we think we'll miss the ball or drop the pass, then that's likely that that's what will happen. If we think we'll lose the game or a certain situation, then we've already lost before we've even hit the field. If we see a Big Mac on TV, seeing that can influence our thoughts, and our thoughts would make us want to go jump up and go, get that poison. In respect to, respect to McDonald's and all those that work there. I worked there myself. In the Bible book of Proverbs 23:7, we read that as a man thinketh, so is he. So if we think on success, then we'll be successful. If we think on prosperity, then we will be prosperous. If we meditate on the 5 highest principles known to man, which are love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, then that's the life that we will live, and that will manifest through us. But the same thing goes with negative thoughts. And oftentimes we don't realize how powerful our thoughts can be. And we don't think about thinking about what we're thinking about. I'm going to repeat that. We don't think about, or I'll say we think without thinking about what we're thinking about. So we need to be conscious of our thoughts. And the prophet even demonstrates to us how thoughts work. In chapter 7, starting at verse 14, again, Lamas asks, what do you say of power? And Jesus said, it is a manifest, is the result of force. It is but naught. It is illusion, nothing more. Force changes not, but power changes as the ethers change. Force is the will of Allah and is omnipotent. And power is that will and manifest directed by the breath. There is power in the winds, a power in the waves, a power in the lightning stroke, a power in the human arm, a power in the eye. The ethers cause these powers to be, and thought of Elohim, of angel, man, or other thinking things directs the force. When it has done its work, the power is no more. So as we can see here, the prophet demonstrates that our thoughts are so powerful. There are such powerful things that they can direct force. But we also see where our thoughts can build things. Our thoughts can build character. In chapter 5, when Jesus, he wrought with Joseph as a carpenter, one day as he was bringing forth the tools for work, he said, "These tools remind me of the ones we handle in the workshop of the mind, where things were made of thought and where we build up character." So our thoughts can build up our character. Our thoughts can build many things. Our thoughts can build kingdoms. Our thoughts can build empires. Our thoughts can build fortunes. But with thought, things can also be torn down. Because when man harms in thought or word or deed another man, he does a wrong to Allah. So just thinking negatively, about a person can bring harm to yourself and can bring a hurt to Allah. So thinking is one of the most important things that man does. And when I say man, that encompasses, it encompasses all, woman and man. And this is why the prophet said, if I can just get you to thinking again, you could save yourselves. But praise Allah for the prophet, who is a thought of Allah manifested in human flesh. Manifested in the flesh. So what are our thoughts? What is a thought, or how? Well, we know what the prophet tells us about thoughts. But we'll look at what the dictionary says about thoughts. The American Heritage Dictionary of the English language defines thought as the past tense and past participle of think. Also, the act or process of thinking, cognition, idea, notion. The intellectual activity or production of a particular activity or social class. Consideration, attention, concern, intent or purpose, expectation, hope or consideration. It comes from Middle English thought, and it comes from Old English. Anybody want to take a guess? I mean, it's kind of just, I already kind of knew this, but I was like, the dictionary, it actually has this. Old English, thoth. It even has the pronunciation of thoth. So in researching, I just go to Google and I put in thought and I put in thoth. And it brought me to evolveconsciousness.org. And I'm going to read just some of the things that I found on that website, but I will say this is for informational purposes only. And these thoughts, or these are not necessarily the views of the Moore Science Temple of America. Islam. So one of the paragraphs, it reads, that is all the gods in most mythologies are symbols, allegories, analogies, and metaphors created to reflect knowledge, understanding, and comprehension of aspects, attributes, qualities, and properties of our world, or existence, and ourselves, consciousness. It elucidates the power of consciousness and thought through the art of speech, magical speech, and actions that can harmonize, unite, integrate, and be married to truth, justice, morality, righteousness, order, authenticity, etc. Thoth was the spouse of the great goddess Mayat. The unity of Thoth, or thoughts, logos, mind, heart, consciousness with Mayat, morality, truth, justice, order. We also know that the prophet tells us that Jesus is that logos, or love, made manifest in the human flesh. Words, symbols, magic have their source origin in the power of true names representing reality. That is what symbols, words, and language are for. An image that represents reality. Symbolism in mythology is encoding this. This is the power of words and symbolism, of language and logos. The word given power by thought / thoth creating them into existence. That is how, quote unquote, God is metaphorically symbolized, as I previously mentioned. To create symbols, nature/reality must be observed so that the symbols reflect the natural science of observation in nature and its processes/systems. First came reality, second came knowledge of reality, third is language about reality through symbol or word. This is the power of consciousness, the power of thought, and words, speech as basic actions to affect existence, or logos, the word. So this is basically telling us that we can tap into the power of the Most High through thoughts. We can create things through thoughts. Of course, we don't subscribe to everything that was just stated in those previous paragraphs, but it just demonstrates how powerful the mind is. So the power of the mind is so strong that we can move things, we can manifest things, we can create things. And that's why our people need to stop thinking as Negroes. Our people need to stop thinking as coloreds and start thinking like Moorish Americans. Our people, we need to stop thinking as blacks and slaves and African Americans and get back to the state of minds of our foremothers and forefathers. And once this happens among us, then we'll have unity. The prophet said, together we stand, divided we fall. Come, good people, because I, the prophet, sent to redeem this nation from mental slavery, which you have now, need every one of you who think that your condition could be better. And he says, if you have race pride, join the Moorish Science Temple of America. So why the Moorish Science Temple of America? Well, for one thing, I mean, there are many groups, there are many paradigms of many different, I'll just say, groups of Moors, all right? And respect to those groups of Moors. And there's nothing wrong with the formation of study groups and things like that. But when we look at our divine constitution and bylaws, it says the Moorish Science Temple of America, home office of Noble Jew Ali. So we'll look at the divine warning by the prophet for the nations, then we'll yield the floor. A divine warning by the prophet for the nations, from the prophet Drew Ali. The citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitution, are all of one family, bearing one free national name. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names and abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the names and principles that delude to slavery. So what are those names we mentioned earlier? Negro, black, colored. Our the prophet was prepared by the great God Allah to warn my people to repent from their sinful ways and go back to that state of mind of their forefathers' divine and national principles, that they will be law-abiders and receive their divine rights as citizens, according to the free national constitution that was prepared for all free national beings. They are to claim their own free national name and religion. There is but one issue for them to be recognized by this government and of the earth, and it comes only through the connection of the Moorish divine national movement, which is incorporated in this government and recognized by all other nations of the world. And through it, they and their children can receive their divine rights, unmolested by other citizens, that they can cast a free national ballot at the polls under the free national constitution of the state's government and not under a granted privilege, as has been the existing condition for many generations. So that paragraph, he says that the movement is incorporated in this government and recognized by all other nations of the world. Here I have a certified copy of a document number 10-10-5905, State of Illinois. Form 1099, Corporation's Religious Affidavit of Organization. I, Noble Drew Ali, do solemnly swear that at a meeting of the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America held at Chicago in the county of Cook and state of Illinois on the 20th day of July, AD 1928, which we just had, which we just celebrated. For that purpose, the following persons were appointed sheikhs, according to the rules and usages of such Moorish Science Temple of America. Noble Drew Ali, Millie-El, Mal Bey, Lovett Bey, and Foreman Bey. The Moorish Science Temple of America deriving its power and authority from the great Quran of Muhammad to propagate the faith and extend the learning and truth of the great prophet of Ali in America, to anoint, appoint, and consecrate missionaries of the prophet, and to establish the faith of Muhammad in America. And said Moorish Science Temple of America adopted as its corporate name the following: Moorish Science Temple of America. And at said meeting, the affiant acted as presiding officer, subscribed and sworn to before me, 20th day of July, AD 1928. Roberta Council, Notary Public. Signed, Drew Ali. And I'll pass that around if anyone would like to take a look at it. You who doubt whether I, the prophet, and my principles are right for the redemption of my people, go to those that know law in the city hall and among the officials in your government and ask them under an intelligent tone, and they will be glad to render you a favorable reply. For they are glad to see me bring you out of darkness into light. Money doesn't make the man. It is free national standards and power that makes a man in a nation. The wealth of all national governments, gold and silver, and commerce belong to the citizens alone, and without your national citizenship by name and principles, you have no true wealth. And I'm hereby calling on all true citizens that stand for a national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work, because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America. Help me to save my people who have fallen from the constitutional laws of government. I'm depending on your support to get them back to the constitutional fold again, that they will learn to love instead of hate and will live according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, supporting our free national Constitution of the United States of America. So the prophet says if we go to our officials, they will render us a favorable reply. I was at a Moorish American's house and I see this on the wall. Someone had gone to the city officials and they got a favorable reply. And one thing that stands out is that the prophets, they respect the prophets' literature. The Moorish Americans are teaching their people their true nationality and divine creed, that they may become better citizens and know they are not Negroes, colored folks, blacks, people, nor Ethiopians or Afros, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1775 and lasted until 1865. Islam?
Islam.
So, our thoughts are very important. Our thoughts can move mountains. The Passean text states that if we have the faith of a mustard seed, then we can move mountains. So finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. So with that, I leave you as I came in peace.
Peace.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
حي على الصلاة.
Allahu Akbar.